This is wild.
Welcome back to Mortons on the Move, and welcome back to traveling. We're back in the truck camper, finally.
It has been a while, well, I guess just since last year, but it felt like a long time because we had a lot of work to do on this truck.
But we are finally hitting the road for some more travel adventures that we are excited to share with you.
Yes, we just started a couple of days ago. We pointed the tires west. We are already having some cool experiences, even just as close as Illinois and Iowa.
The goal for this trip is going to be trying to stay off the interstate as much as we can. We have seen a lot of this country by interstate, the major routes and the major destinations, so we're kind of hoping to see a little bit more of the in-between, and we are already seeing it. We are coming to you right now from an interesting little town of Sabula, Iowa, which is an island city in the Mississippi, the only permanently inhabited island on the Mississippi River. And
there's a campground here.
Pretty cool. We have a gorgeous spot here. The bird life here is amazing. It's just been so fun to watch. Sabula itself, this little island city, is pretty interesting because the development goes right to the edges of this little town. We've already biked around it, and there's not a ton here. It's primarily residential. There's definitely a lot of Airbnbs if you want to come stay on the Mississippi island. But it's interesting in that it wasn't originally an island. There's actually a dam slash lock south of us because this is a navigable part of the river. The Mississippi is navigable all the way to Minneapolis, and when that dam was put in, it flooded the river, but this settlement was high enough that it became an island. So check this out. I think this used to be an early railroad crossing of the river. 4-car steam ferry used. They probably put the trains on a ferry and then shipped them across the water. But look at this. In winter, tracks were laid on the ice. Actual tracks above are donated. These were the original tracks. Huh.
If it doesn't say don't climb on it.
You see nothing in there.
Ooh, that's spooky.
There's like a generator that ran off the wheels.
That is absolutely something that you would say, ha, look at this for.
Just kind of a cool little place. Partially, we just drove through it, but we also found it by satellite imagery. We've talked about satellite imagery a lot. We love to scan from above, and we kind of saw this little thing in the middle of the river. What is that? Let's go there. And here we are. We've had a neat time here, but we're gonna start heading west. We'll have to explore the driftless region more in the future.
The first day that we were here, Tom immediately got the drone out and flew all around checking out this island and had a little bit of a misadventure.
I'll be honest, I have crashed drones a couple times. Actually, only this little tiny one that we have. I think because it's so small and it just doesn't cause a whole lot of damage and is less expensive if I do crash it, I'm a little more risky with it, if you will. Yep, Tom did that. Laugh at your mistakes, or oh, it's not a mistake.
Drone recovered.
It's like a $2 part, so as long as it flies.
So Tom was flying the drone out real fast to catch a barge and went sideways with the drone thinking he was out over the river and clear, but hit this tree out here on this island. And we were just pumping up the paddle boards for him to go out there and get it when these very nice people down here were just climbing into their boat to go fishing. They had seen Tom zip off with the drone and heard it crash, and then they saw us inflating the paddleboard, and so they came over and offered to give us a ride out to the island.
The reason we fly these little tiny drones now is they're much more resilient to a crash, but it costs a lot less, and I'm more willing to take risks with it. But this is what you end up with sometimes.
So thank you to the guys down there. They actually have a Bigfoot truck camper too, so kindred spirit. But anyway, that was our fun, exciting morning day one. Got a broken prop. And Tom's had missing the lens cap. We've got a little green spots everywhere. You got so lucky. It lives.
Seems good.
Yes, so thank you to those two guys for offering to give us a ride over there and being a part of the recovery mission.
The adventure never stops. The plan for this trip is to head west, however. We are on our way to Colorado right now. We are on the brand new rebuild of the truck, so we're gonna cross our fingers that all goes well and see what adventures await.
Yeah, but there's a lot between here and there when you're driving the back roads. So we've just kind of put on our Google Maps to avoid highways. And so we'll see where it takes us. And we are leaving Sabula shortly after filming this, and we're gonna start that leg of the trip.
Glad to have you back on the road with us. Let's see where this adventure takes us.
Pulling out of the dump station. And what happened, honey?
As I released the parking brake, it snapped and it went all the way to the floor. So we don't have a parking brake right now, which, you know,
because we're a manual, that's kind of a big deal.
It's kind of critical, actually. So we just got out of the way for the people behind us at the dump station. We're gonna see if we can't figure out what happened here. Oh no.
What?
The cable's shredded. That right there is supposed to go up into that. Not good.
What does this mean? We gotta stop at a auto store? Is that something we can get at an auto store?
No. I don't know.
Okay.
We're gonna have to pull new cable. Not the end of the world. It just means we can't stop without turning the engine off, because we have to have the trans in gear or else the truck will roll. We have to basically roll against the trans. So we'll see if we can't replace parking cable, but once again, having a 5500 is a little bit more of a challenge because it's probably a little harder to find, but maybe not. Maybe we'll find the cable, no problem, but we'll see.
Solar's optimistic.
Good.
Yeah. Anyone who wants to come and camp here, just make note. 12:05 to get to the campground. Bye, Sabula. Look, Poopies. You want to tell us about Poopies?
It's a famous biker bar. That's about all we know. If you're into bikes, like motorcycles, yeah, you can come get a poopy burger.
Downsides to doing this, though, is
Lots of stopping.
lots of stopping.
Anywhere we can see the block
Like,
from?
you can go to the right. Or visitor overlook. There it is.
Well, over here?
Yeah, try that first. Damn, that's big.
So this dam is what created that island, Sabula, that we were staying on. This is not as big as the barges. When the barges come through, they must separate those individual sections. Maybe that's why they use the tugs to help them through. It'd be cool if we could see one come through. What you got there?
I am.
Duck.
I am IDing.
Another
Duck.
thing Caitlin has gotten into is birding.
I use an app called called Merlin ID. I think it's either a wood duck or a blue-winged teal. Ooh, I don't know.
This is next to the dam. Wood duck.
New lifer! Oh, it's so much fun to get new lifers.
Biodiesel? No, I think it's some sort of fuel. Maybe they're using scraps from corn? Oh, maybe they make ethanol, bioprocessing. Maybe it's a big dome of corn. Another fun thing about taking the back roads is finding just random cool places to camp. This wasn't even on our radar, but we are at the Cedar County Conservation camping area along the Cedar River tonight. Just saw it as we crossed the river and said, hey, let's stop and stay the night.
And we've got the whole place to ourselves so far.
Gotta love the off season. Quick stop at Costco, but there's something unique about this one. I know a Costco stop isn't exactly exciting, but this is their parking. The entire place has indoor parking, and we weren't sure if we were gonna fit, but actually, yeah, you could pull an RV into their indoor parking here.
Whoa.
In, where are we even?
We're in Coralville,
Iowa. How crazy is that? Not sure why they have indoor parking here. Cold? Snow?
Hot.
Hot?
Hot in the summer, cold in the winter.
Crazy. Oh, here's a door. This.
It's just like a Costco parking lot, just indoors.
Weird, huh?
Would you just tell me about this road?
We're on this for another 90 miles. Taking the 2-lane, we've done an awful lot of winding and hopping around, which it's kind of fun when that's your plan. It can be kind of frustrating if you really want to get somewhere. But it's neat. It really feels like we're actually out here in the country more so than being on the interstate. I know you really are, but I feel like you're in people's backyards.
And front yards.
You sick of farms yet?
There's a lot of them. Holy moly.
It's a lot more farms.
They're just like as far as you can see in every direction.
Yeah, another, probably 15 hours more of farms.
If you ever wondered where all your food came from, well, where all the corn comes from to feed all the cows.
Food comes from California. Your
corn
your cows
to
come from
feed
here.
the corn, the cows.
Your feet.
Yes.
And your ethanol.
We're also driving through this area at a pretty interesting time because a lot of these fields are actively being harvested. We're seeing the harvesters. We're having to pass tractors on the road. They're filling the grain trucks, and all of the silos seem to have a lot of activity going on between getting loaded up and then shipped out, and so it's kind of cool. You can see all the fields in various stages of being harvested.
Giant clouds of dust.
Yeah, that too.
Out here, look at the giant clouds of dust that you can tell where a harvester is operating.
Yes, absolutely. Got to clean these windows.
I agree.
Solar, if I clean the windows, will you agree not to smudge your nose on them? No, you would never agree to that.
Take the second left, then your destination will be on the left.
There's a bunch of RVs. That's where they were all hiding. Oh, Solar. Soon, buddy. You know you were supposed to get your dinner at 5 Eastern time. Poor bug. Oh. We are in Winterset, Iowa, and it is very windy today, but it is very beautiful. It's like upper 70s, and we're gonna go see what there is to see.
We are at the fairgrounds. John Wayne's name?
Marion Robert Morrison in Winterset, Iowa on May 26, 1907.
His first name was
Marion.
Marion.
M-A-R-I-O-N.
I would like to obtain a copy of my birth record. I was born in Winterset, Iowa, and registered under the name Marion Robert Morrison. I enclose $1 for the convenience fee.
He had his car customized.
Yeah, I read that he ordered this and then he had a car specialist, Silas, raise the roof to accommodate his 6'4" frame. Born in 1907, moved to California when he was 7. Changed his name in 1930 when he did Big Trail. And then Stagecoach was 39. This was when he was doing all of his B Western movies. And this was his big hit that got him to stardom.
Fame from there on out. Rest is history. And this is why this museum is here. That's the house he was born in. Although only
Marion Morrison.
Marion Morrison. Not that he really has any connection to this town, but you know, you gotta put a museum somewhere.
So excited that we did that.
You have fun?
Yes, very much. And we just might have to watch a John Wayne movie tonight. The hardest part is going to be deciding which one, though. So why did we come here? Well, we were off the beaten path and looking for some fun things to do, and I came across the John Wayne Birthplace Museum on Google Maps. And I remember growing up as a kid, My brother, my sister, and I would always watch John Wayne movies with my dad. My dad was a big John Wayne fan. So kind of grew up watching a lot of these movies and watching John Wayne. And it was so much fun going in there and like recognizing all of these films that I saw during my childhood and learning about John Wayne. And yeah, it was really fun. The other cool thing in Winterset, Iowa is the Iowa Quilt Museum.
In a museum kind of mood today.
I guess so.
We're putting on gloves so that we can touch things without getting like oils and stuff. So we learned that they change exhibits about every 4 months, but currently it is the indigo and white quilts of the 19th century. That's what they've got in here. And they have 22 of these quilts, and each one is astounding because many of these quilts are hand-dyed fabric. They're all hand stitched, and so that's really impressive when you get in really close and you see all the fine stitching, and it is so precise, and the perfection that goes into these. These makers were hand cutting these shapes and putting them together, and they are so precise and so exquisite.
I honestly didn't really expect to enjoy the Quilt Museum so much, but I learned a lot, and seeing so much artistry that goes into these. I learned that quilting, I guess I always thought quilting kind of came from like poor people stitching together stuff for bedding, but that's absolutely not the case. That was almost always a hobby done by people of means because it takes so much time. It has to be done in the light, and it really is art, and I think it's pretty cool, and just the immense amount of time and detail into them is pretty cool.
And it turns out there's quite a bit of math and geometry, which I think the engineer in Tom really likes.
Yeah.
So we just wrapped up at the Iowa Quilt Museum, and I was expecting to have a nice time and to be impressed by the quilts, but
I thought she was dragging me along, but it was cool.
It was really cool. And the geometry and the workmanship and the skill and the history, it was all just very fascinating. So
Sometimes it's cool to step outside your museum comfort zone.
yes.
Tasty.
Fresh.
Fresh. We've had this for 5 years.
Oh, you haven't. You getting up? Get up there. Come on.
Solar. Oh, hello.
Oh, it's not for you. It's not for you.
Popcorn.
John Wayne movie.
Couple more things to do in Winterset.
Yeah. Let's go.
This is an English maze in their city park.
Not too many wrong turns. That was fun. Now we gotta find our way out.
So this morning we came to the Winterset City Park because they're known for one other thing, which is lots of covered bridges in the region.
There's actually a covered bridge scenic byway that runs through here. And
I don't think we're gonna go see all of them, but they have one somewhere in this park, so we're gonna go find that.
Check out the fire suppression. Whoa. Why do you think they covered bridges?
I don't know.
Let's go under it. So I looked it up, and covered bridges were usually covered just to improve the lifespan, keep the snow and rain off of the wooden decks, because these are all wooden bridges, would increase the lifespan, and a lot of times they are already trussing these along the edges to give them more structural integrity for longer spans. So at that point, if you've already got trussing up, why not put a roof on it and make it last longer? This one's well over 100 years old. Well, look at that!
Pioneer settlers of Madison County
First settlers to the area.
in 1846. Resurrection 1926.
It's so...
And it's just like a little castle tower.
And what a pretty ride through here.
Yeah, this was so fun.
It's like a one-way drive that comes down, and gosh, we got a beautiful day.
All of stone. Didn't we read that Caleb was a stonemason or something like that?
Something like that. Let's go up. Oh, quite a view.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. That's what it reminds me of.
Except
Although,
you're not the one with long hair now.
yeah, you're the one with long hair. Tom, Tom, let down your hair. So we came across this rock commemorating the discovery of the Hawkeye delicious apple.
Also known as the Red Delicious, that I'm sure you've all seen. It's not as popular in the stores as it was 20 years ago, but it's still a very well-known apple. And apparently it was, I don't know if it was here, but it was definitely in this county.
Madison County.
Where the apple was first cultivated. I'm not an apple expert, but I know that you can't propagate apple trees from like an apple that you have. It's always a different apple. So it's kind of a chance thing, and basically all apples that you have of a single variety are basically cuttings or, if you will, clones. They're all the exact same DNA that's been propagated onto different trees over the years. So all Red Deliciouses came from here. It's kind of cool. They've got some interesting claims to fame in this town. So I'm standing under one of the paddle wheels of the Captain Merryweather Lewis dredge that is parked here alongside the Missouri River where we're crossed. Unfortunately, it's closed for the season for tours, but I did a little research on this vessel because I knew it was here, and it's pretty cool. This is what's called a dustpan dredge. It basically has a big chute that it would drop down to the bottom of the river and just push its way forward with these giant paddle wheels. It would just churn up the river bottom, suck it up, and then shoot it out the back down a metal pipe to the edges of the river
or somewhere else where the sediment could settle out. It was designed to basically make the Missouri River navigable. I believe it launched in the 30s. It's got a steam engine in it fired by oil, and it has side paddle wheels, which I'm under right now, and it's pretty impressive. I think this is pretty cool because I've never seen a dustpan style dredge before. It only had about a 20-foot dredge capability, but that's all it was trying to do, was basically cut out the center of the river to make it navigable by ships. Looks like it's been here for a while, but overall it's pretty cool to take a look at.
We stopped in this little town, a little ghost town now of Nicodemus. It is a National Historic Site, however, because it is one of several Black African-American establishments that was formed in the late 1800s after the Civil War. After emancipation in 1863, there was still Jim Crow laws in the South, and a lot of formerly enslaved Black people who had moved to Kentucky kind of gathered and moved out west here to Kansas to a free state to form their own colony. And at one point this town of Nicodemus was upwards of 500 to 700 people, and it was a booming, prosperous little town, and it's one of several sites here in Kansas that these folks moved out to kind of escape that persecution and kind of set themselves off on their own path. So it's a pretty cool little stop, a lot of information signs around the town. We're unfortunately here during the government shutdown, not our first time hitting a national park site while the government has been shut down, but we were able to get the story from the plaques around town and learn a little bit about this area's history and how important that was for these flies, for those people to have a free place to go and kind of be able to strike out on their own.
There's not a whole lot left, but it's the last remaining
Yep.
Black settlement west of the Mississippi.
Last one.
To Colorado, and here's where we're going to wrap up this video.
Oh, wait a minute, this doesn't look like Colorado.
If you're not familiar with Colorado, half of it is flat, is plains, is ranch land.
Pretty much just like the western part of Kansas.
We
so-
are still on the, we're still in the flat, but we can see the mountains on the horizon, and that's where we're headed next. As always, thank you for joining us so much for this adventure. Even though we were just traveling through farmland, we still had a really good time poking our way across the country on the I wouldn't say back road, some of them are back roads, but
Some of them
highways.
were
Back road
state
highways.
Highways, the 2 lanes.
The
And
2 lanes.
It was much more interesting than just driving the interstate straight through. And we really, really enjoyed it. We liked the challenge of finding kind of some new and interesting things in what are kind of perceived as the flyover states or the drive fast through states.
As always, thank you so much for joining us here. We'll see you in the mountains.